Welcome to Horror Madness with Deb, Dana, and our friend Cameron.
Y'all can call me Cam because I like you guys.
We got mics in everybody's face in a weird, uncomfortable way.
Yeah, we have not done a guest in real life before. We've done them on the phone, but...
And I'm the first one for a reason because I'm awesome. And
Facts.
I feel like this place really needed some living up, so...
It did, absolutely.
I came on.
So tonight we're going to talk about the movie Midsommar.
Directed by Ari Aster. It's an A24. Starring Florence Pugh.
And
The
not
fact that you
Chris
have to
Pratt.
look at the notes to remember Florence Pugh's name is actually insane.
Well,
I didn't have to look at the notes. I was looking at the notes to remember William Poulter's name. Eyebrows.
That's fair.
how you going to forget fucking Eyebrows' name?
Oh, what's Eyebrows' name?
William Poulter.
Bill Skarsgård?
No, Will
Oh.
Poulter.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't have as good of eyebrows.
Who, Bill Skarsgård?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Will Poulter has perfect fucking eyebrows.
Yeah, he's got
That's
the
insane.
He looks like Elizabeth from the...
Oh, from the
Is
cooking
this-
show.
Is this cake
Is
show?
this cake?
God, those eyebrows. Oh, I think a good thing to start out with is the director, Ari Aster, thinks that this movie is like The Wizard of Oz. He said it's like The Wizard of Oz for perverts. I very often think that directors manage to direct a movie and don't know what the fuck they're directing at all, or have any clue what's happening in their own lives while they're directing a movie. I love this movie. I love Ari Aster. I don't think this movie has anything to do with The Wizard of Oz apart from there's a picture of the scarecrow on top of somebody's fridge in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, I missed that.
I didn't see it either. I just read a thing that said that happened.
So I read a lot of things where he was absolutely inspired by Wizard of Oz.
Which that's fine. Inspired
There's
by
straw.
Sure. There's straw.
There's straw.
Swedish people. There's the Lollipop Guild. There's not.
There's no lollipop
I thought
guild.
I had recognized the flying monkey. I did not.
I think
I
you
mean,
did.
it may have
I
been
think
the
that's
flying monkey.
probably the closest thing to the Wizard of Oz was the flying monkey
Yeah,
that he said wasn't in the movie.
but it kind of
But
was.
kind of was. They weren't trying to. There's no Toto.
There's no
Zero.
Toto. Zero dogs.
Zero Totos.
Nar.
Nar.
I thought that it related a lot to Alice in Wonderland, and I'm gonna stick by that.
And I agree
I
with you
agree.
If we
completely.
had to put it like against like a folktale Wonderland kind of thing, I would definitely say Alice in Wonderland before anything else.
I couldn't agree more. If he compared this to Alice in Wonderland, I'd be like, I don't quite see it, but like, sure, maybe. Like, there are like things that make sense to say that, but like Wizard of Oz, yeah, no.
So I think his biggest thing was that it was Danny's path to self-realization, which is kind of the path that Dorothy takes. So there is a little bit of a parallel there. But that is, I think, where the line is drawn.
Even that's a stretch.
I think the line was drawn way before.
Yeah, I think
that
the
moment
line
there.
the line is drawn at this movie is actually super low budget, which it doesn't seem to be.
$9 million.
It's beautiful, and it like honestly, if you told me this movie was $100 million, I would just straight up be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like,
No, this movie was made on a $9 million budget.
Okay, but if you gave me $9 million, I would live a high budget life. So
yeah,
Okay.
no, for the rest of our entire life.
it-
Yeah.
it's
Two and a
Exactly.
half hour movie.
But that just goes to say, like, how much money is thrown into movies. Like,
Yeah,
a
wild
$9
amount.
million is a
I feel
low-budget
like-
movie.
they didn't have a whole lot of CGI really.
None.
No.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
yeah,
there
yeah,
was some in
yeah.
the
There-
core.
Yeah,
there
the
was-
undulating.
And the
flower
ugly
vaginas.
oh my god, the grass through the hand.
Yeah. There
that's
is some,
kinda bad.
but
it
it's
looked
also.
so bad.
I didn't think it looked that bad.
It looked awful. She didn't have any fingernails, honey.
Well, she was also tripping.
Yeah.
It didn't have to look perfect.
That
Like
sounds
it
like
wasn't.
an excuse to me.
It wasn't a. It
Sounds
wasn't
like an
a
excuse.
fucking like giant monster attacking things that looked like the Scorpion King.
They wrote like a page and a half of notes, and I have 3 things written down.
That's all you need.
And I think I'm just going to add them in as little quirks every now and then.
I love that.
They're not worth having a full conversation.
So
Everything is worth having a full conversation.
So I did
You're right.
so many podcasts in the past, but I was never in charge of a podcast. I never was doing a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And literally that was my job. Quips.
You were the quirk?
I was just quips. Yeah. I was just like everybody else is talking all super intelligently about
And you were the comedic relief.
Yeah, and I would just quip about
Such as I am being currently right now as in this moment.
Right, which is a perfectly fine thing, and why I think all podcasts need 3 people. No more, no less, like the Illuminati.
No more,
no less. One more is too many people, and everybody's talking over each other. One less, and nothing's funny.
It's just Deb and Dana
Welcome
talking to each other.
Welcome to Horror Madness, everybody.
So there's the opening scene, and
It's rough.
it is a rough opening scene.
It's a rough opening
It
scene.
is dark. It is brutal. It is
Almost unnecessarily so, because, it doesn't matter.
I
And-
disagree.
All right.
Oh.
All right.
I disagree because I think the amount of sacrifice that she experienced at the beginning of the movie had a lot to play into why she fit in with the cult so well. I think it had to be as dramatic and torturous as it was for her to fit in so well in that Swedish sacrificial yada 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 community.
I agree.
I do agree.
But also, I feel like if you just wouldn't have done that whole opening scene, nothing in the entire movie would be different whatsoever.
But also the next 45 minutes were so boring that they had to make us have something interesting at the very beginning.
Which,
Also,
yeah, I'm on board
Florence
with.
Pugh just did amazing in that scene.
Yeah. So
I
I'm
don't have a
gonna
sister.
I'm gonna
so-
put this to rest, because when I tried to Google it, I saw 10 things in one direction and 10 things in the other direction, and then I watched a YouTube video that wasn't talking about this at all. And as the firefighters are coming up the stairs, there are very clearly, for just a split second, 2 hoses. She didn't accidentally kill her parents, and if you think she accidentally killed her
didn't.
parents, you're
You're
fucking
I
wrong.
apparently am because I
There-
did think that was an accident.
So when we were watching the movie, I was like, no, there's a hose going into that bedroom. And Deb was like, I don't know, maybe it was just the hose passing the bedroom. And I was like, I'm not sure, but when the firefighters are going up the stairs, there is very clearly 2 separate hoses that are going 2 separate places. And she absolutely did kill her parents on purpose, and if you think she didn't, you're wrong. And watch it again.
That adds a whole nother layer to it, though, because
Yeah.
having such a big opening, we're going to want to know the motivation behind such a huge thing happening. Suicide, it's a very tragic thing, and, it's not necessary for us to know why her sister committed suicide. But why her sister killed her parents
Yeah.
is something that I want to know more about, and it's not touched on again.
it is
Yeah.
dark and disturbing, and
Yeah, it's a harsh opening
it is, and
for a ultimately harsh movie.
it is, and Florence Pugh does amazing at. What's the word I'm looking for?
Period.
Period. No, we haven't gotten to the period of it yet.
Oh.
She does amazing in making you feel that grief. She doesn't hold back. Like you said when we were watching it, she's not scared to embarrass herself.
No, I love actors who aren't scared to embarrass themselves.
She put it all out there.
She looked ugly in such a good way.
Yeah.
She ate that up.
She did amazing. And we go to there in the apartment planning a trip to Sweden.
Well, so we got a little bit of college. It's not a apartment. This is her dorm room, isn't it?
No, it was
It's
definitely an apartment.
It was- so
From college-educated individuals.
right.
It was
I mean,
definitely-
I never lived in a
But
dorm.
also
I am currently living in
we're
a dorm
talking
with
about
9 other women.
Hollywood, where they think everyone that's ever lived lives in a $40 million mansion, even if they're fucking poor, and are an architect.
That's
or a rider.
like a really expensive apartment.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be a dorm room.
So they're planning a trip to Sweden for a 9-day festival.
Yeah, what's that dude's name? Pele?
He's hot. I'd tap that.
God of...
Oh.
Really?
No, he looks too much like a man. I prefer men who look
He
like
look
women.
like a man.
I prefer skinny, scrawny women with no facial hair.
That's a shame.
He's
I'll be
too
right back.
massive.
I got to shave.
So there's the opening, and they're driving, and it's
And
very.
now, hold on. We got the airplane ride to death. We got the whole fact that this...
What? Okay, talk about the airplane ride to death.
There's not... That's it. That's it. There's the airplane ride.
Death, yeah.
Which was, like, kind of odd. And I was like, why is she in an airplane bathroom? And then, like, I was like, oh, it's on an airplane. That would have been nice to have been explained in any way.
Yeah, no,
Final
I was like, I
destination?
don't think I ever realized they were on
Yeah,
an airplane
there's a
ever.
whole airplane. There's, like, a whole ass scene on an airplane that doesn't need to be there.
Wow.
You remember how boring this movie
Did I
can
blink?
get? This movie's great and wonderful, and we all love it. And I
Yes.
think the majority of everybody who's ever seen it loves it. You could leave the murdering out in the beginning. You could leave the airplane scene out, and this movie would just be shorter and no different.
Also,
I
they
don't
cut
care about
30.
y'all's theses at all. Did not care about the theses.
Oh,
Did not
yeah,
care about
yeah.
the full-on fights about the theses.
Didn't matter that he was doing his thesis. That had
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
to do with the entire
It
movie.
had like
yeah.
a very minor part.
Yeah, like I
And the
feel
book
like
being stolen, that didn't really matter.
90% of this movie could have been cut out, and this could have been like a 30-minute movie that would have been the best movie ever made in the history
Just
of
have
mankind.
the end, like.
And I don't know, like it's a long ass movie.
It was 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, like was it a whole 2.5?
Yeah, it was 2 hours and 25 minutes long.
Good fucking
Also, they
Lord,
cut
like
30
you
minutes from this movie.
could have cut another hour out of this movie, and like it would have just been a better movie.
And it would have been $4.5 million instead of 9.
yeah,
Yeah, because a lot of the money went to cutting it.
and Chris Pratt's not actually in it.
It's so
No,
tragic.
no, he's not.
Yeah, so like, yeah,
Chris
this movie
Pratt
could have been
isn't
an
funny
hour
anymore.
less, and I don't think anything would have actually been different at all.
So this movie actually had an NC-17 rating before they cut the 30 minutes out. I kind of wish they had left it
Which
in.
was just the weird grandma's gangbang scene.
Yeah.
There's not a gang banging anybody, but like those grandmas are doing some weird shit. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Hold your horses, everybody.
There is a cool
Also, I think
Shining
everyone
like
has seen
opening.
Yeah, after the airplane scene that didn't need to be there at all.
It
There's
is
the upside down shining.
the opening. They're showing them driving in, and it's over the road and into the woods, and it's very Shining reminiscent.
So also I want to say, for the record, I took handwritten notes for this, which we don't ever do. This is my first time. I can't read most of this. So
That's why we type our notes.
I literally have a note that says airplane to death. And like I could barely even read
drive-in.
that. No, don't look at it.
The drive-in, the Shining drive-in. Yes.
Yeah, the drive-in, the shining drive-in.
And then they showed up and they did drugs.
Acid in the field. Yeah.
Acid.
Mushrooms. They did
mushrooms,
mushrooms.
mushrooms.
And that's when that awful hand CGI came in. She didn't have any nails. She didn't have any wrinkles
It
on her
was
fingers.
really bad. It looked.
It
It
was
was.
surprisingly bad.
It was very clearly a fake hand with grass
This
on
is
it.
my third or fourth time seeing this movie. I never noticed that it looked
Well,
that
like
bad.
I said, us women.
Also, a lot of the stuff that's supposed to be important is just glazed over. It's a 9-day festival, and then it's 9 p.m. and it's still sunlight. And then
also, like, there's no point in the movie that it matters that it was 9 days or let you understand in any film way that 9 days have passed at all.
That would have been difficult to do, but I think it was necessary to
Right.
drive the point home because I feel like it surrounded around Midsommar so much, but it did not surround Midsommar as much as I
Yeah.
wanted it to.
Yeah.
Although the director did a lot of research, according to Deb.
also, like, there's things I read that were not correct. Like, they're like, whenever they speak their language, it's not subtitled, and it's very clearly subtitled in the movie. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, they said that wasn't subtitled, and it wasn't supposed to be subtitled because it was supposed to make you feel uncomfortable that you couldn't understand what they were saying. And I feel like that would have been better.
Yeah.
If I couldn't understand what they were saying, that would have been
I
like,
agree. A lot of what they said was a lot of the very clear and definite and were actually there subtitles were darker than the movie ever let on that they should be. And I think
Yeah.
that maybe it would have been better to just not be subtitled. Because they're all like the darkness and the hate and the evil and stuff. Like,
yeah.
but nothing in the movie ever. I think even the whole ritual and the whole everyone dying and everything, nothing is ever that supernatural or demonic.
It's not
or
really evil as much as it's just part of their culture.
right.
Yeah.
It's more just a cultural thing that you don't understand because you're not in the, and also
Yeah.
not a real thing. But like it just seemed unnecessary to every time that they speak to be like the blackness is coming to steal your soul.
And like,
And it's like no blackness ever comes to steal anyone's soul. Like, why did you need to say that?
Yeah.
every time a Swedish character spoke Swedish and like there was like an actor would translate what they said to another character.
Yeah.
So we really did not need the subtitles. We got the gist from one of the actors explaining to another
Yeah.
actor what this Swedish person was saying. So like, because I was trying to think of moments where like we would have needed to know what they said, and like that whenever the guy pissed on the tree, we would not have known how significant the tree was if without the subtitles. But then I remembered
Right.
he translated it to the guy who
He
peed on
did,
the tree.
you're
and
yeah,
said,
right.
"Hey,
yeah.
like, oh, that's like our ancestors."
Yeah, he's like, why did you
Yeah.
do that?
Right,
You
so
can't
I
do
don't-
that.
I
So
really
it was
don't think we needed
unnecessary.
them.
Yeah,
They
it was completely
translated everything
unnecessary.
that was important to the actors.
Also, I don't know when they got added because.
So
according-
I guess maybe in the theatrical release there weren't subtitles.
Okay.
And we have the Blu-ray and we're watching the Blu-ray and the Blu-ray has subtitles. Maybe the theatrical release didn't. I think the subtitles hurt the movie.
I kind of agree.
Also,
Absolutely.
every time we do this crap, every time we do a movie, I'm like, no, I love this movie. And then I just do nothing but talk shit about it.
Yeah, no, it happens.
like,
that when
also,
we
I don't know what else
critically
you're
What am I
watch
supposed to
supposed to
it.
do?
do.
Oh my god, this movie was so good. It was the best movie I've ever seen for like an
Right.
hour.
End of podcast.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just,
shit was fine.
yeah.
All right, turn the cameras on.
Shit was great. Done.
Done. Over.
Yeah.
Bro, if we did one on The Substance, oh my god, I could sit here for 4 hours and talk about that
Well,
beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous,
well-
beautiful, amazing, beautiful movie.
So, a lot of stuff is glazed over. And they're like, oh, we're here. We're high.
There's a lot of stuff that could have been glazed over that isn't glazed over.
Yeah, and then they're like, talking about the old people. And they're like, what happens at 72? And dude's like, with a little slitty throat motion. And
Yeah, that could have actually been talked about because it's like the entire crux of the movie.
I know, but that's all that's said, and you don't realize it until the old people are jumping off the cliff that it's even relevant.
But also, like, you know, I feel like there's a bit of a point to that of you being kind of shocked that that's happening. It's shocking to them. It's supposed to be shocking to the audience.
It's
Just
also,
like so many things are built up that don't matter.
I mean, that thing is big. Those old people jump to their death.
Yeah, no, I
and
mean,
it's
that's-
violent and it's brutal and the most gore that is in the movie.
I mean, it's really the only gore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the blood eagle
And
thing, but like, it's not even
That's
gory.
it's
It's
they
just
made
sitting
it
there.
they made it pretty too with the
I loved how
flowers.
clean all like the whites. I don't think I think the costumes being so clean added to like
Oh,
Yeah.
The
it did.
simulation form of it.
Yeah, it was
Because, like, would
definitely
they
a
have grass
choice.
stains? Yes, they would. 100%. Those white clothes would have been so stinky and nasty and dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Grass
But
and
it
dirt.
added to,
and-
like,
yeah.
the ambiance of it all.
Well,
It did.
I feel like 90% of this movie is just making you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But like, if they didn't spend so much time making you feel uncomfortable, you would be the exact same amount of uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's uncomfortable things in this movie from
Yeah.
start to finish that are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And none of them are ever addressed like head on. It's just like uncomfort. Which, I mean, makes for a good horror movie.
What the fuck does too many bags? Oh, I remember.
Oh.
I'm never laying in grass like that,
Oh, too many bugs.
especially high.
Oh, no.
Especially,
They're
like,
just rolling
high.
in the grass. Like,
There are so many bugs in that grass. And they even mention that Sweden has a like legitimate tick problem. Also, doesn't matter. And why do they even mention that? There's a lot of stuff that is purposeful, and I think most of the purposeful stuff is just him making you uncomfortable on purpose with strange things and the roofs. We talked a lot about the buildings and like the building. No one's ever built a roof that looks like the roofs on those. I'm not talking about the triangle stuff. I'm talking about the like just random barns and stuff.
every building is off center a little and sloping downward and just makes you uncomfortable to look at. We all commented on it.
Yeah.
Every single one of us, a different building at a different time. We're like, that building doesn't look right.
Yeah, which, is there to
And
make you feel uncomfortable.
There's a lot of things in the movie that are just there to make you feel uncomfortable.
Ticks make me feel uncomfortable. Also, like, I would have not felt more or less uncomfortable whether or not that tick scene was in there that had nothing to do with anything.
Honestly, I'd rather jump off of a cliff than get a tick.
Yeah, well,
Ugh.
I hate ticks. I hate ticks a bunch.
Face
They make me feel
first.
very...
Face in the rock, unrecognizable afterwards. Don't give me a tick.
Yeah, well, if it was, I'd hit it with a mallet, so...
If you did that, it would be called
A testupa.
a testupa.
God, we sound so American
Is
right now.
I know. I don't know how to pronounce
does
it.
that say a stupa?
It is a common thing in Nordic and Swedish folklore. Is the older people in the community kill themselves for the betterment of the community.
Yeah.
Arguably the most ethical thing that can be.
And they explain that in the movie. They're like, they're 72. They lived their life.
No one needs to take care of them, and...
They said every life has a circle, a recycle. We don't die with pain and fear and shame.
Yeah.
Which is
72 seems like a weird age to pick.
yeah.
It's arguably quite beautiful.
Yeah,
like
that's what it's
like the concept of it.
Yeah, we don't die with pain, we don't die with fear, we don't die with shame.
Okay,
we don't
the pain thing is a little bit.
I mean, especially with the dude that got hit in the face
Maybe
with the mallet
emotional
over
pain.
and over and over again.
Also, like, maybe don't do that and just land on your feet, because
Why would you try to land on your feet?
I don't think that distance wasn't that wild. Like, it was a pretty far distance, but I feel like in real life, if you would have landed on your feet right there, you would have been far less fucked up.
Well, he wasn't that fucked up. They killed him with a mallet.
No, his eyes were bleeding and shit. Like, I don't think that would happen. He landed straight on his feet.
Foot broken.
I want to know if there was a significance to their faces being on, and we talked about this when we were watching the movie. She jumped face first on purpose, and her face was destroyed. He jumped feet first, and then they destroyed his face almost in like an identical fashion.
I got the feeling, but also it's an important part that they don't ever talk about or bring up whatsoever. I think he was a little scared.
Okay.
So he just did it wrong at the last second.
Yeah.
And the mallet's there in case, in case it doesn't work out.
In case it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It felt important that their faces were gone because they zoomed in on them. And I don't know if it was just for like shock and gore of the movie or if it was actually significant to the people. And I want to know.
It could have been like the. Oh God! Just keep talking. I lost my train of thought as soon as I opened my mouth.
And it could be a part of their because they seem very intentional with their sacrifices, and it could have been that.
Maybe it's like the lack of like physical identification that's necessary in spiritual worlds, like because although it was a man and a woman, whenever their faces were gone, like if you put them against each other on that mallet, I wouldn't have been able to tell you which one was the man and which one was the woman.
No, they were identical.
I think it took away like the physical attributes of each individual and kind of showed that we're all the same spiritually. Because also the idea is death and replacement of a new birth. Out with the old and with the new. That was the whole idea. Was that you don't die and go to emptiness. You die and then you are reborn. And
they're recycled.
So, like, maybe if he would have landed on his back and died, they still would have had to have destroyed his face.
Yeah.
For the sacrifice. That's... Yeah, I felt like there was a significance to the faces being gone.
Ari Aster knows, but he was too scared of ticks to... not put in that airplane scene.
I thought you said chicks, and I was like, yeah, I got the feeling that he was scared of women after this movie.
He was more scared of dudes that look like Chris Pratt. But at the same time, I think one of the most impactful and beautiful things I've ever seen in a horror movie ever is that far away shot of him hitting, and you just hear the doom, doom.
Yeah, that's...
There's no screaming, there's no... blood-curdling craziness. No, it's just like a faraway shot. It's just like...
Did you say this was his first movie?
No, it's not. I did earlier, but it's his second.
Oh, so you're a dirty little liar.
Yeah, I'm a dirty little liar. Heredity was first.
Heredity was...
Hereditary.
I was about to say.
That's what I said.
No, you said heredity.
This is called gaslighting, and that's what I said the whole time.
God, man, I can't stand you. It almost worked, too. I was like, I've never heard of that movie before.
What movie is that?
Yeah, no, the correct word for that movie is the correct
Hereditary.
Movie.
Hereditary was his first movie?
I think he had done some shorts and stuff, but like it was his first actual movie, and this is his second. Also, he's never made a movie that I hate.
Huh?
Yeah.
So
yeah, who knows who made anything? It's A24. It's artistic.
Old people jump to their deaths in a beautiful scene.
DED.
Okay, I was paying attention to what's his name?
Pele, yeah.
Pele, whenever it was her birthday, drew a very gorgeous sketch of her with the flower crown on her head.
Mm-hmm. And so showed her the picture of the last one.
That little community knew that she was going to be the Spring Queen before.
So she did.
That just hit me. So he shows her the picture of the last Spring Queen.
No, he showed her a picture of her sketched with flowers on her head.
For her birthday.
Sketched for her birthday.
I thought he also showed her a picture.
Oh, definitely. There were a bunch of... I know that at one point there were a bunch of pictures of the old Spring Queens on the wall.
Yeah. And he did. And he talked about... And he said that. But he gave her a picture that was her.
I didn't pay enough attention. Were they there? Were they alive? Because she doesn't die.
What do you mean?
Did the former Spring Queens...
They
were
didn't...
They there?
They never acknowledged if the former May Queens were there.
Oh, yeah. Not Spring. It's
Spring Queen.
I'm the one who started Spring Queen, guys.
Because it sounds like Scream Queen, so, like, that's fair.
But he drew this sketch for her, and then later on in the sketch flashed again during...
later in the movie.
Yeah, later in the movie, it flashed again, and it was like, there was a very clear sign that she was meant to be the May Queen. Yeah. This happens every 90 years.
Yeah.
And this 90th year... it was her time.
And they knew it for whatever reason, which is weird and is never addressed. But also she seems like weirdly at home there and okay with everything that's happening. So it was just meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, she just seems like a weirdo.
Yeah, no, when those old people died, like she cries a little bit, but like everyone else is freaking out. And she's just like, I think I need to leave.
So
because death. Like, she
doesn't... do you guys not get it? Like...
Yeah, she's weirdly okay with everything going on the whole time.
So I think that was a big thing that we discussed while we were watching it that is not in the movie for no apparent reason. So, if I'm doing this wild festival and stuff and convincing these Americans to come and be murdered, I think I would just tie them up in a closet and not let them see anything because all they do is fuck everything up the entire time. So why would you let them participate in everything? So is it that they had to become part of the community and them witnessing everything was letting them become part of the community? Or was it just a really stupid decision to let them see anything? Not explained in the movie, but all kinds of things that don't need to be are.
I think it could have been.
But there are ticks in Sweden.
Yeah, but there's ticks in Sweden, if you're wondering. Don't worry about the actual plot of the movie or the reason you're
There's
watching
ticks.
it. There's ticks in Sweden, a lot of
So
them.
I think part of it is maybe they didn't know she was going to be the May Queen and Pele just wanted her to be. And they were seeing who reacted in a certain way.
Well, she was the only chick after, like, the first couple minutes. It's not the May Queen King, I don't think, was an
Well,
option.
there was. Oh, yeah, no. Okay.
Yeah, like,
Okay,
everybody
good
was a
point.
guy. So, like, there was the other chick who disappears in the first, like,
But the
2
May Queen
seconds.
doesn't die. The May Queen wins the dance. So it could have been anybody in the community. It could have been anybody in the community.
Okay.
No, but she
The
was gonna win.
sacrifices, yeah, but she had to be worthy to win.
But that was also iffy on even
He
the
just brought-
sacrifices.
So he just brought new blood, and whether she was new blood or the May Queen, it didn't matter. He just brought
That
new
makes sense.
blood.
Vaguely.
So there is a bunch of beautiful, I don't know if they're dream scenes or high trips.
Ding, 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 ding.
I think they're high trips. But Florence Pugh was breathing out the exhaust that like killed her family, and it was
That's
a
at the
beautiful.
very end.
No, that was my next note.
That's at the that's like an hour from now.
Okay, then go ahead.
That's like right when dude's getting burnt as a bear. At the very
No,
end of the movie.
definitely.
It's
not.
before Dude
When
peed
she's-
on the tree.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
You're tweaking, brother.
Maybe.
yeah. She was breathing out the exhaust, and it was like an in between scene, and all it was her breathing out the exhaust, and she woke up.
Okay. Maybe,
And
does
it
she
was-
do it more than once?
Maybe. I don't know. I just thought it was like a really cool scene. There's a lot of little in between scenes that are really beautiful. This movie is beautifully shot.
Yeah,
it's
amazing.
beautiful.
And it's a great movie.
There's also a scene which I didn't catch it, and I tried watching for it, and I saw stills of it where her sister's face can be seen in the trees.
Oh.
Oh, was
like-
that her sister in the bathroom?
In the mirror?
Yeah, when
Yes.
she goes to the bathroom and apparently lights a road flare, which doesn't really make any sense
Oh,
at all.
you said, what is she just let it
Yeah,
flare?
like she walk and even makes like a road flare sound, like she struck a road flare to light up the bathroom, and then there's a face behind her.
Yes, it's her sister's face.
I know
Yeah.
at one point there was like a scene
Still
with her
doesn't matter.
sister and her parents. I think it was whenever she was having the flashback and she was comparing the death of her parents to the death of the people who jumped off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like, their bodies were replaced. And her sister like randomly opened her eyes at one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ugh, I did not like that. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like 2 hours of making you feel uncomfortable and 45 minutes of this is already uncomfortable and didn't need 2 hours of making me feel uncomfortable.
This movie is exhausting to watch.
It
kinda
is.
It
We
kinda
were
is.
all
So
very
tiring to
tired.
watch.
Yeah.
And yet we still goofed around for like 2 hours before we actually sat down.
Yeah, we had to, I think, to wake ourselves up.
Kind of have to gotta clear your mind after a movie like this and be like, this movie's so fucking deep. It made me think so hard.
And then sit down and talk about it again.
And
And then
then
let's
I'm
talk
looking-
about it and then just be like, is it deep?
And then I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, dude pissed on a tree. They got real mad.
Yeah.
And then there's period blood in the lemonade. And
So
Somebody eats pubes, I think.
yes, in the lemonade.
Yeah,
Although it looked like a cat.
also, like, nobody in the naked sex scene
Had pubic
hair that long.
No,
Not even
No,
that
they
long.
didn't.
And all
Everybody
the
was
bitches
pretty well
were,
trimmed.
They were all
I
I
up
was
in there.
expecting some 70s bushes. I was expecting the.
Yeah.
They had notes to The Shining and everyone else except for the bushes.
Yeah. With the old lady in the bathtub and her old,
Right. They
her
did
Yeah.
old
not
gray
have that
bush. Yeah.
classic Shining bush that we got in the bathroom.
They only had $9 million. They couldn't be like,
Okay.
all right,
Don't
you
change.
15 people. We need you guys to grow your bushes out for a year and a half to be in this movie.
A vag pay, if you will.
I just want to get to that scene, and we're not there yet.
Oh, yeah, well,
Patience is a virtue.
I spent an hour and 45 minutes of this movie just being like, how has that not happened yet? I thought that was way earlier than it's not.
Me
It's
too.
a slog before
I
you get
feel like a lot of the cool scenes are glazed over.
there. Yeah, like everything
I am
amazing is like 1 second, and then they're just like
I
infinitely harping on things that have nothing to do with the actual movie.
I'm a gore whore. I love the gore.
Me
I want to see the
too.
blood. I want to see, and I want to focus on it and know why it's there. And they're just like, cool, these old people died. There's their face for a second. It's important. We're never going to explain why. Cool, dude's going to pee on a tree. And we're going to kill him and wear his face and show it for 0.3 seconds.
So I am totally and completely against filmmakers holding the hand of somebody watching the movie.
Yes, absolutely.
I prefer movies. I think most of the time, the less that's actually told, the better, because it.
Cool.
And you don't agree.
I do not agree.
You don't
I
agree with that.
hate whenever stuff so important is left out in the open. I don't like to use my imagination. I like to have the
like
motivations.
to.
I like to have the origin. I like to
So-
have.
I feel like this movie is in the middle of both of us, where it both showed too much, and what it did show had nothing to do with what was shown.
Also, it had nothing to do with the movie, and everything would have ended up the same, no matter
Yeah,
what.
you're right. You're right.
I mean, them stealing the book had nothing to do with
What
anything.
book?
Yeah.
What book?
The magic book that is just hardly talked
Never
about.
even mentioned at
This
all.
ancestral book that
Yeah.
like
Or the ancestral tree that got peed on.
Or
that
yeah.
was a cute touch. I actually liked. I think those were like nods to the culture
They
that he
were.
really,
For sure.
really wanted to add in, and he was like, "How do we get this character to have the motivation to go and look at this ancestral book?"
He's writing a thesis, and they're gonna fight over
Yeah,
it.
you know, like, and he wants to have the best one, so he's gonna try to like sneak in and whatever. I really, really, really want to know more about this story. I would
I
also
did.
like some more details on how the brothers Americanized themselves to go and find sacrifices. How did you do that? You signed up for college.
Yeah.
Foreign
You
exchange students.
I know, but like you had to apply.
But yeah, still like
You
that
had
dude
to
came
have-
from this weird little village in Sweden.
Where is this currency
Yeah,
coming
and paid thousands
Yeah.
of dollars in college
They
to
don't-
get a few people.
They
Where'd you
don't
get
have
denim
the
jeans?
internet.
to
Yeah.
maybe make friends with people and maybe bring them back for this once
like
in a lifetime ceremony.
It's like a Joker plot of like,
from? Right.
we're just gonna accidentally send you to this college, and you're accidentally gonna find a whole bunch of people who just at the same time are all gonna agree to accidentally come here together, like for no fucking reason at all.
And is this the first time that they've done this? Because another thing that we notice is the disabled girl is supposed to represent inbreeding. And the reason why they bring Christian back and do the whole virgin ceremony, yada yada thing, is to bring in new blood into the community. So is this the first time that they have actually reached out to go get
No.
people? Because it hasn't happened in 90 years. So,
Right, and there's like one person that is disabled,
yeah.
and like 20, 30,
Yeah.
maybe 100 people, maybe some people aren't shown that are perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's obviously not that much of an issue.
No.
And that's the thing, you don't have to hold me through the birth of the disabled person and be like, this is exactly what happened. But maybe just for 1 second, actually tell me why that person's there and not just make me assume.
Or
And I
maybe
don't
one of
want the
those
whole
2-minute
story.
scenes.
Just give me a clue. And if Ari Aster thought I was going to watch this movie 127 times to get all of the hidden references, sorry, bro, you're out of luck. No one's ever watched a movie that many times. Fine.
My
Also,
mom has watched Jesus Christ Superstar about 300 times.
I have watched Pitch Perfect about 300 times.
Oh, that is an amazing movie.
That is an amazing movie.
So-
I am the girlfriend to drag my boyfriend to come see Pitch Perfect with me.
I just watched it on my own. I don't want a dude to ruin that for me.
And I am going to make him harmonize with me in the car on the way home. Baby, go like this. Shoot, 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 shoot.
So then they're dancing at the maypole.
Start doing it, getting jiggy with it, if you will.
Yeah, dude.
She dances her ass off.
The rest of them have rhythm. She's just walking.
But she wins.
She's doing it with confidence.
Do anything
She
with
looked
confidence and you will
lost.
win.
And she won. And she got crowned. And then everyone started worshiping her. All while her stinky little boyfriend
Stinky little.
And
is
her
having sex with a ginger behind her back.
and her flower was pulsating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her flower and her crown was like pop, 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 pop.
Well, so I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Wizard of Oz for perverts.
And it's a vagina.
It was a vagina pulsating on her head bone.
It's a pulsating poppy.
Yeah, which
Hey.
I'm sure has some vaginal.
That flower had more of a bush than those grannies did.
Yeah, and then they go straight into a weird sex scene with some full frontal nudity
Yeah, full frontal. All the
by
full frontal.
everybody. Everybody's just like bearing it all.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they're singing while he's trying to fuck, because, like...
Why was Florence freaking out? Oh, yeah. She, like, peeps in a peephole and is like, oh.
Yeah,
And
you're the only
they're all-
close
That's the
person
most
in
devastating thing that could ever happen in her life.
How long are we gonna keep doing this?
I don't know,
You
but
can't just make eye contact with a dude who is having relations with a lady with like 16 old ladies
harmonizing.
watching, and then that one bitch is like staring him in the eyes and like holding his hand, and he's just like, oh, that was my favorite part of the whole movie.
Motherfucker said deeper
Yeah,
and
yeah,
deeper.
yeah. She's like, oh, y'all are soaking. No, you gotta fucking get it in there.
She
Let me
wanted
push her ass
to
for you.
make sure she got impregnated.
Yeah.
And then dude gets done
I can
fucking.
feel the baby. I
and
can
she-
feel the baby.
And he's like, what the fuck? I just fucked you. What do you mean you can feel the fucking baby?
Rocking back. I can feel the baby. I can feel the baby.
And
Whole bunch of weirdness.
Danny's freaking the fuck out more than she did when her family died. Like,
Oh, yeah. Infinitely more than her entire family being murdered. She's like, my fucking shitty boyfriend had sex with someone that in a cult on drugs. Like, what? Like, it's not that serious.
And then she's freaking out and they start mimicking her while she's crying. And then it shoots back and forth between them mimicking her freaking out and the women mimicking the sex sounds, which is kind of cool. I kind of like that, like, parallel. Like,
yeah, it's a wild ass scene.
It is. This is all like in the last 10 minutes of this long ass movie. Like, people are dying. Dude is fucking.
So when we started doing this movie, and I have not really changed my mind very much, I was like, I love this movie. Like, it's got a crazy beginning. Some shit happens in the middle. And then, like, a bunch of shit happens at the end. And it's a 2-hour and 45-minute movie with 30 minutes worth of stuff happening.
Where's that fast forward button?
Yeah,
at?
like,
We
yeah.
did
Where
talk
is
through-
that 2
yeah.
times speed? Like, let's keep this going. There was so much silence, and there was a lot of beautiful silence.
It
But there was
was-
a lot of
yes.
very unnecessary silence. I just kind of wanted to take like a few naps in
So
Yeah.
I think that's a big part. Like the cinematography is beautiful, and I think they went out of their way to
They
focus
did.
on the beautiful cinematography.
Give me
Let's
something
go.
ugly.
Yeah, which they don't do much of at
Even the Blood
all.
Eagle, which should have been a cool and brutal scene, was pretty.
Yeah, yeah,
Covered in flowers and flowers
with
in his
his
eyeballs.
yeah,
and
Terrifier eyes and
yeah, he's
Art the
yeah,
Clown
Art the fucking
eyes.
clown.
I liked how the gore and the ugly was portrayed beautifully.
Oh, that's the thing to backtrack a little bit that also isn't explained at all. So when Eyebrows gets killed,
Oh.
and then the guy shows up wearing his face, and then like there's that whole part of the movie that also doesn't matter at all, where the Swedish people are trying to figure out who killed him. So I was never
Oh.
quite sure. I don't think you can be sure. Was that a ruse? Was that a trick? Or did dude just kill him because he pissed on the tree and was really mad and wanted to kill him?
I think he was going to die either way because they needed the 9 lives for
Right.
their harvest, and it was a ruse.
Yeah, which like sure, maybe, and that's what I'm saying about the hand holding and like unbelievable non-hand holding. It would have taken 3 words. Like at any point someone could have just been like, "Yeah, we got him."
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah, they
Like,
justified
fucking-
murders that were gonna happen anyway. That one and
Right.
and the other guy who was looking at the book for his thesis.
Yeah,
That
he
gave
stole the book.
motivation
Yeah.
to kill him. We did not need the motivation.
So
No, it was going
what-
to happen.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to happen anyway, and then it's like, or was it? But like they weren't going to let him go home, so it definitely was. So like, who cares? Why does it matter?
I think on a first watch, it's better because you don't know what's going to happen. After you know what's going to happen, a lot of it is lost. On my first watch, I enjoyed this movie more because I don't know. Why are they fucking with the book? Why?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what was going to fucking happen.
I felt like the first couple times I watched this movie, I did very strongly feel like there were hints and it was a thing that you could figure out.
Okay.
It's too long and it's too slow to bother watching enough times to figure it out.
Okay.
And on like the third or fourth watch, I'm just like, I don't think that's actually there. Like he's getting credited for this genius film that I don't think the genius is there as much as he's getting credit for at all. Like just straight up.
The first time that I watched it, I was also so much more interested and invested.
Yeah.
Like I thought that so many of the big moments came so much sooner. So
Yeah.
much sooner. So anticipating that on a rewatch was like, oh my god, I did not realize how much extra information is in this movie.
But all
Yeah.
of the extra information has nothing to do with the plot of the actual movie.
I mean, the plot of the movie is pretty simple.
Yeah.
College kids go to Sweden, get killed,
Looks
except
pretty.
for one.
Yeah, you want me to fucking talk about how good your movie is? Be the mutilator.
I do love that they give her the choice of who dies. Or they seem to. They're like, who's it gonna be when she is sitting
there's
as the
also,
And
queen?
she's like, bitch, duh. Like,
Yeah,
and
right,
she
right.
just and it just cuts to them putting dude in the bear suit.
Yeah, which is just like, duh, there wasn't actually
yeah.
another option.
Also, did she pick all 3 of them? Because who were the 2 guys?
It was very, very briefly brushed over that they had just done enough to help, that it was a privilege for them to die.
Also, like
volunteered?
that's the shit I want to see. They
said-
could have dove deeper
right.
into that. That's the shit I want to see. Not
He
their
called
thesis.
them out and said,
Thesi.
he said that they had done something special. I don't remember his exact words. He literally was like, and you guys have done so much to help that you get the privilege of dying. He's like, and Pele. And I was like, well, no matter what
Haley
they
doesn't
did,
die.
he did way more than the other two dudes. Like, what could they have went and gathered the fucking mushrooms? Like, what the fuck did they do?
See,
Yeah.
that was so glossed over that I didn't even recognize it. That feels like
Yeah.
they were just throwing two people in for the sake of making it.
Oh, one of them. I have a note.
Oh, you have a
I
note.
have a note.
Oh, do
I
you
have a note.
note?
One of them did so much that isn't explained in the movie that he got to burn alive, and the other one was bingo night.
Oh, it was the lottery.
Torbjorn from Overwatch was bingo night.
No, the lottery pick was for two volunteers, and she had to choose between the two lottery people or the bear
They
suit.
only picked one lottery person.
But they all
No, they
died.
picked two, did they not?
And everybody died. They put all of them in that building and burned them all.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
But you know what? I know about that thesis.
Yeah, what about
I
that
know
thesis,
about that
though?
thesis.
You know what? What about
what
that
up with that thesis?
Also, shout out to Cheaty.
Yeah, love that guy. Florence Pugh's good. I like Florence Pugh. I love fucking Cheaty.
Oh, cute, and her cute little pal.
The acting in this movie is
It is
It is
perfect. It's
great.
Perfect. It's
everybody
wonderful.
does great. It is shot great.
It's wild to talk so bad about a movie and then also be like, it's some of the best cinematography I've ever
It
seen in my
is.
life.
It's a
some of the
beautiful
best
movie.
acting I've ever seen in my life. Weirdly, and I can't not say it, I feel like it's directed beautifully.
It is.
Even though it was the director's choice to like do all these bad things. Yeah, we love shitty movies, and this is not a shitty movie.
This
isn't a shitty movie. It's got some issues. I only love things with issues. Petting Deb's head.
That's incredible.
Love you, Deb.
Hey, by the way, just in case you guys didn't know, they're married. Didn't know if you guys knew that or not.
Most
Are we,
people.
though? I'm pretty sure we went to Sweden and I won a lottery thing. Like, I'm just waiting to die.
And I'm
You didn't know?
Deb's like side hoe that she keeps on the side and like invites over on Friday nights.
Also, she doesn't know that she was the secret lottery winner. So, if the next Horror Madness episode is just Deb by herself, you know what happened.
It was a great movie. Good choice.
Yep.
Ah,
Good choice.
Yep.
I did choose this movie. This was one of 5. I don't remember what the other 4 were.
I think Hereditary was on there.
Oh yeah, it was.
And of course, The Craft.
Of course it was.
You know what's weird?
Me and my twin.
They're twin.
I think I have so much worse to say about Hereditary if we ever do it. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We love you, motherfuckers, and good night.